It's that time again. Yay. I know there's always this little bit of delay between when we do something and when it shows up for insiders, but I'm going to take a quick earshot over here. Yep, so the audio is going through over there, so hopefully ours is as well. I can see that I'm working and I actually have everything unmuted properly this time. So I think we are good to go. And with that, hi Brandon, hi Jen, how's it going?
Hi.
Hello.
So I was like, am I unmuted?
No, you're good
It's like
to go.
the 14 years in tech, and start questioning, your abilities.
Right, it's always an adventure. So here we are. It's April. It's time for another edition of the Windows Insider Webcast. What's really funny is just before we actually, started streaming over here, I was making a comment to Brandon and to our guest, who I will introduce here in a moment, about how I am like my head's kind of red and I feel a bit flush. I had to go to the doctor and get some medicine because apparently I got a spider bite. Womp womp. I'm gonna live.
Oh
right?
no!
Yeah, it actually bit me 3 times, but that's what the Band-Aid's for.
Are you gonna get superpowers?
I don't know. If I could start slinging webs, we'll see. Right? I might have to change careers, but in the event that that doesn't occur, you'll still see me chugging along here. So apparently the medicine they gave me, it makes me feel really hot and flush and whatnot. And I had mentioned that, and then Brandon was like, hey, you remember Ignite in Orlando? And I think it was back, what was it, 2018, Brandon? Was it 2018, 2018?
2018.
So for those who aren't familiar...
Was that the Ignite where I broke my phone?
That may have been.
I was like, wee! And it shattered real good.
So for those who haven't been to the Ignite conference when it was hosted in Orlando, right? It's the Orlando Convention Center, and it's split into multiple buildings. And yes, it is warm even in October. And we were going between buildings, and I had to stop real quick to tie my shoe. And so we're at the crosswalk, and I bend down to tie my shoe, and my forearm brushed against some purple plant that was on the side of the sidewalk. They had planted right there. Right? Just this. Brandon's laughing because it's absolutely true. The most innocuous thing ever, you brush up against a plant. Well, the next thing you know, I've got red spots all over my arm. It's swelling, turning red, getting hot. I had, within 30 seconds of brushing up against this plant, I had an allergic reaction to it. And thankfully, not too far across the parking lot over by the hotels, there was actually a Walgreens. So I got to go over there and get some hydrocortisone and put it on. I'm having flashbacks to the craziness of work trips and work travel, and I don't know.
I have no memory of that at all. I have a memory of us going to Red Lobster and eating a lot of biscuits. That
was another tradition. Every time we would land there, we would go to Red Lobster and eat the cheddar biscuits. Oh my goodness. Hopefully one of these days we'll get back to doing some travel and get to go to Ignite if they host it, in person again. Anyway, sorry, I have distracted us long enough here. Just some funny throwback conversation. So with that, let me run through real quick topic of conversation of things that we will be discussing. It looks like Jen has disappeared, or has at least frozen. I think she fell off a team, so hopefully she'll be back here momentarily. We are going to be talking about phone link. So if you remember, probably a year or so ago, Melissa, who will also be our guest once again today, popped on and talked through some of the aspects of, well, it wasn't named phone link back then, but we'll get into that in today's session. Talked about, some of the availability, answered some user questions. So today we're going to expand a little bit, and Jen is back. I think I'm going to have
I'm sorry.
No, I'm going to have to make one quick adjustment on your video, because that's one of the fun things that happens when Teams jumps like that. So I will fix that real quick. And there we go. All fixed up. So, completely lost my train of thought, but that's all right. We're going to be talking about, like I said, phone link, some of the changes that have happened over the course of time. There were some recent announcements that we will go through. Super excited to talk to you about that. And also, of course, probably not surprising, we'll talk about the importance of feedback in this space, given the changes that have happened. So we're super eager to hear what's happening, on end user, the aspect of that, for those who are using it along the way. Additionally, once we go through that content, we'll talk a little bit about recent flights, ask questions about any outstanding bugs that you're seeing, and I do want to get a little bit of user insight along the way. So you'll see some random questions popping in from me as we go through that part of the discussion. But without further ado, let me take a moment and bringing Melissa on. Melissa, your camera is still off. If I could ask you to pop it on. And hey, how's it going?
Hi, Jason, Brandon, and Jennifer. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back. There's some exciting things have taken place in your neck of the woods as of late, and it's always good to go through and share with the insiders kind of what's happening, what's new, what's exciting, and of course, any feedback that insiders have. Like I mentioned before, we'll talk about that as we get towards the end of the segment. But let me just say, once again, I'll thank you for making the time. Thank you for popping in. Thank you for coming to share. I know that you have put together a beautiful presentation that we will walk through and cover some of this material. There's going to be some good tidbits at the end for folks. So stay tuned for anybody who's watching. And we will make sure and add any of the links that are in the presentation. We will type those out in chat so you have the ability to copy and paste and reference those along the way so that you don't have to hopefully pause and stop the video to go and grab them. But without me just rambling on much more, Melissa, I will turn the microphone over to you. Let me know when you're ready to present, and I will get that popped up on the screen.
Yeah, should be going now.
All right. Looks like we're good to go.
Good. Awesome. Well, yeah, like I said, thanks for having me back. It has been a little over a year, so a lot has changed over that past year for the PhoneLink app and our experiences, and I'm really excited to share them with our insiders today. So thanks again for giving us this forum to connect with the insiders. Like you mentioned, the last time I was here, we had some exciting changes in the PhoneLink app on Windows, where we did a really big overhaul of our user experience. And for those of you who may not have been in that session, or maybe new to insiders or new to PhoneLink, I want to recap sort of that evolution so you can really have a perspective in how this app has grown and changed over time. And all of the changes we've made have, a lot of them have been a direct kind of response to the feedback that we get from our insiders and making sure this experience works great for all of our users. So if we go back to the beginning, which I call our roots, maybe a small percentage of you remember when the PhoneLink app used to look like this. And it used to be called Your Phone. We announced it in the fall of 2018, I believe, during build. And it started with a very lightweight feature set, but the same goal that we have today, which is to bring experiences from your phone directly into your Windows PC so that you can be more productive and you can have access to the things that you care about without needing to switch contexts outside of your PC. And that has really been our mission, and it remains true today. As we evolved, we learned that a lot of the essence of our app was bringing this personal content. And so we really needed to add personality to the app. And so we made some investments here in really bringing your phone to the PC. So the things that you've customized about your app, your personal wallpaper, status about your phone, things that keep you in your workflow, and also bring that sort of delightfulness to this app as you're interacting with it on your PC. Then we continued to evolve, and we brought some more phone actions. We brought some more utility to the PhoneLink app, or it was still called Your Phone at the time. So things like being able to change your Bluetooth status, having your music from your Spotify or your podcast directly accessible in PhoneLink. And we started to really evolve the function of the app as well as the personality and the design. And that's what led to the topic that I discussed last time I was here, which we made this announcement around this overhaul of our UI. We really leveraged the kind of awesome patterns that Windows 11 introduced, some of the new materials and styles and aesthetics that allowed us to bring into the app. We continued to bring personality. We added a ton of new features. And last time I was here, this is what we were celebrating. And I think today we have kind of an equally awesome topic to discuss, which brings us to not just the UI design, but we're bringing new compatibility to PhoneLink with the highly anticipated iPhone support. So this is super exciting for all of our iPhone users who have felt maybe they couldn't use Phone Link for such time. We heard you, and we're really excited to bring this support to those customers as well. So I want to walk through at a really high level the experiences, but what I really want is for the insiders to go try this themselves and give us feedback and play around with the features and let us know. All of the iPhone users who have been waiting for this, we want to continue to hear your feedback and let us know how we can continue to improve. So, of course, we'll start with onboarding your iPhone to Phone Link. And the way this happens is through Bluetooth. We have a pretty cool experience that I want to highlight here for onboarding. The pairing and the setup is done through a QR code, which we know a lot of people are very familiar with using. It's very quick. And what happens here is that this QR code will completely guide you through the pairing process. So you don't need to go to like your Windows settings in Bluetooth and go to your phone and try to figure out how to do that with like a PIN code. All you have to do is scan this QR code and we will pop up this piece of UI on your phone and it will guide you through the pairing process. So super simple. We really wanted to stay principled in making this part of the experience really quick and seamless so that you can get to the cool part of the app, which is access to all of the things that you love about your phone. So please try our onboarding and let us know how this is working for you. Also want to shout out the fact that for this particular setup process, you do not need to download an app on your phone. So it makes it that much quicker, that much less friction that you can get through this process really quickly. And we really want to optimize getting you to the value of the app. So the app shell looks very similar to what I just showed, which were our Android kind of evolution. And we just wanted to keep that familiarity and consistency for our users. The features that I want to highlight, the first one is calls. So calls is awesome because often throughout the day, you'll get a call on your phone. You have to go find your phone, pick it up, answer it, come back to your PC, and maybe do that several times throughout the day. And it kind of, you lose your focus when you're moving back and forth between devices. Here, as with everything in Phone Link, the call will come right to your PC, and you can decide in that moment whether you want to answer it, whether you want to respond with a text instead of answering it, or whether you just wanted to go into your call history and then interact with that person later on. So once again, you can stay in your workflow, but never miss a thing when it comes to people that are trying to communicate with you. So calls works very similarly to that on Android if you have used that experience before. If not, of course, I encourage you to try it. Make a call to a friend or family member right on your PC, and you'll see kind of the magic that is having that kind of access without needing to pick up your phone. The other thing here is, of course, we have notifications. So notifications, I know for myself and a lot of people, are sort of what drives how you interact with your phone throughout the day. So you'll get them from all your different apps, and you decide in the moment whether you're going to take an action on them or not. It's so you can stay informed, not only for your communications apps, but maybe you have like a business and you like to track your expenses and you get notifications for that. It's sort of this aggregated view that we all use to drive our days. And so here we really bring that same kind of consolidated panel back in Phone Link where you can see all of your notifications, and they will never, you can always choose if you want to act on them or if you would like them to stay in your feed and pin them for later. You can really have a lot of control here, which is, of course, what we all want over our days. And then the next thing here, I just have a quick animation because I know a lot of people like to see the visuals in motion. So here is an example of making a call directly from your call history. You can see here the dialer opens on the PC. It's super simple. You can move that window around as much as you need to make space on your PC desktop. And then you can also, of course, call any of these contacts from your history, or just use the dial pad and you can search anything in your contact book. So everything is here at your fingertips for interacting with users over calls. And then the next thing here, showing calls if you do not have the phone link app open in the foreground. Just like any other apps here, you'll get a toast notification. I hope I can get this to play. And it will pop up in the lower right-hand corner as all Action Center toasts do. And so there you can see, like, you're still staying informed, but this smaller footprint allows you to kind of keep managing your windows that may already be open on your desktop without needing to have the phone link app open at all times. So you can feel confident that you're not going to miss any calls as long as you have those notifications enabled. All right, and then, yeah.
Do you mind if I throw in a question? There was somebody in chat that asked a quick question, and when you're on an active call, is it possible to completely minimize the end call window to not take up screen real estate? Does it go to the taskbar, or is that something that they would need to file feedback on and make as a new feature request?
Let's take that as some feedback, okay. And we can look into how to continue to improve window management. As we know, people like to have, as I was just saying, like to have control over what's on your desktop, your footprint for all your windows. So we want to be really conscious of that. Thank you for the question. Yep. And then last here, I wanted to end with maybe the hero of the features, which is messages. Messages, something that keeps us all connected, not just through calling, but just that quick back and forth you have all throughout the day. I'm a huge texter, by the way, so this is awesome for me because I really like to stay in touch with my messages, and I get FOMO if I don't. So this is super cool. We have messages now for iMessage and single participant SMS messages, and you will see them all here in the app. It's super easy to respond. The text and chatting experience is the same as it is on Android, and it's comparable as to any other chat apps you're used to. So there's nothing here that's out of the what people might be used to for chatting. And then also you can initiate a message here. You can search your contact book. And you'll also receive all of your group messages as notifications. So although you may not be able to respond to group messages from PhoneLink at the moment, you will still receive them as a notification. So we really want to keep you informed as best as we can for those types of messages. So yeah, really awesome. Super excited to announce these three kind of core features for our Windows Insider users, and this should be available for all insiders now. I wanted to quickly touch on feedback and a little bit of troubleshooting, like Jason mentioned. So let me start with the troubleshooting. If you are a Windows Insider and you believe that you are not receiving the right version of the app to start pairing with an iPhone, there's a couple of things you can do to ensure that you are indeed properly configured to receive the build that will have this experience enabled. The first is you can check in your Windows settings, Windows Update, Windows Insiders, and make sure that you're on one of the Insiders channels. It doesn't matter which of the three, just make sure you're opted into one of them. If it's your first time opting in, you'll need to restart the PC for those changes to take effect. So just make sure to follow through with the restart, and then you should be all set up from the Insider's perspective and opted in. For PhoneLink, yes.
We have 4 channels now, not 3.
Oh, 4 channels. Okay, thank you for the correction. Any of the 4 channels will work. The uber point is make sure you are indeed on Insiders and that you have the update go all the way through the restart. The other thing you'll want to do is for the PhoneLink app, make sure you are on the latest version from the store. One thing that's easy to miss is if you do not have automatic updates turned on, or if you explicitly have them off, you'll probably need to go to the Microsoft Store and force the update manually just to make sure that you have the latest version. And please try all of that first and give the app some time as well after you update to get the right build to your machine. If after that you still feel stuck, please do feel free to send us feedback. And that kind of segues into the slide I have here. There's several ways you can get in touch with our team with feedback. So the preferred method is to use Feedback Hub. This way we can get information about your issue and your app version, like the things that we'll need to really diagnose what's happening. There's two ways that you can file through Feedback Hub. The first is directly through the PhoneLink app. So you can go into the PhoneLink app. This is where this screenshot is from, our settings, feedback, and community. And then there's a button there that says send feedback. This will directly kind of funnel you into Feedback Hub with the right input figured out or already filled out for you. So it makes it super easy. You don't have to type in the context and the category yourself. It will already have that populated. If you want to go directly from Feedback Hub, just make sure that you put the category as apps and PhoneLink so that it will come to our team. And we always super appreciate bugs that we get from Windows Insiders. We look at all of them, and it helps us really get the app, some critical things in the app fixed and at quality before we go to our larger audience. So this audience is greatly appreciated in terms of feedback and helping us fix things and understand things users might be facing.
I don't know if the insiders watching the call know, but like every single week we watch the incoming levels of feedback for all areas across Windows and like try to spot abnormalities or like just how things are trending. And when the iPhone support started rolling out, I was like, "Oh my God, PhoneLink is on fire with feedback!" And they were like, "No, it's cool. Everyone's excited, so it's good."
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Thank you, Jennifer. That's super cool. Yeah, we're really excited, and we share like all that excitement with our insiders. We know that this has been something requested by insiders since the beginning of our journey. So this is a really big moment for us. We're very excited to have to offer this new support and to invite iPhone users into PhoneLink. And that's all I had. I left our Twitter here. If you also want to get in touch with us over Twitter, you can reach out to our official handle. I'm also on Twitter. If you'd like to follow me, I post about PhoneLink updates from time to time when they are ready for insiders. So feel free to do that as well. And thank you again for listening.
That was awesome. I love hearing about all the new stuff that's coming out. It's interesting, and I will admit readily, like I'm an Android user, so I don't have an iPhone. So, when we were discussing some of the changes in this space before it actually launched out to insiders, I was like, well, hey, I don't get to participate, but hey, that's okay. It happens sometimes. Depends on which ecosystem you've aligned into, and I know people can be very particular about which phone they're using. There's plenty of raging debates on the internet that have happened over the course of time. I will say, over the course of your discussion, we tossed a couple tidbits your way of things from chat, but if going back after the fact, I will help collate some of what's in here because there's some really interesting questions, and apparently there's already feedback being filed for new thoughts and suggestions people have of things that they would love to see in the app. So no doubt after this webcast you're going to have more content to go through and see what users are eager and clamoring for along the way.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And like I said, we always appreciate the feedback, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of the thoughts and suggestions.
Yep.
And I'm having computer problems today, but did you mention the other new thing, which is the widget for PhoneLink?
I did not mention the widget, but the widget is also an exciting addition coming from our team. I wish I had maybe the PMs here to talk to it and represent that work, but it's really fun. It brings kind of like that window into your phone, into that widget area, which is really cool, and kind of those like top level information that you would use like that smaller space for. So very cool. I will definitely advocate for the widget as well. Please, insiders, try the widget, pin it to your widget area, and give us feedback on that as well.
Yeah, when I pinned it the first time, I was just like, this is exactly everything that I would want a phone link widget to be. Yeah, and I think it's available for everyone now too. So if you open the widgets board and click the plus, it should show as an option. And it has
Yeah,
like
and it
your
works.
battery level, your notification.
Works
Yep.
great. I use it quite a bit, and it works with both iPhone and Android, so that's really cool.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. That's definitely one for both. I know this presentation was iPhone centric, but the widget is available for Android as well. So please do try it out.
I want to throw something out there, right? And I know you mentioned this at the beginning of the session, but I want to give you and, you know, hopefully through you to the broader team of folks that you work with, both on the PM and the engineering side. I want to give y'all a bunch of kudos, right? I know that the implementation of some of this work has been lengthy and, you know, and challenging. And I know there's been a lot of heart and soul poured into this to try and address user feedback to help create a good experience on multiple platforms, right? It's not always easy to go out and do challenging work, and just to see the progress that's been made so far over the past year, it's astounding. And you know, I know you probably haven't been watching the chat directly. I know it's can't really do that and present at the same time. I totally get it, right? It's one of the fun things about this type of experience. So when you go back and hopefully watch the video of this after the fact, just look at the comments, please, Melissa, because like there's so much excitement around the changes that have shown up for this particular app and this feature work. I just want you to know that it is obviously greatly appreciated amongst the insider audience, and as it continues to grow and develop, like you're working in a really fun space, and there's a lot of people with eyes on this, and I say that in a very good way.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I'm already looking forward to reading the chat. Once again, I feel like I'm kind of missing out, but I'm super excited to read through it. And yeah, thanks again for having me. That's all the content I had today. But please, to the insiders again, feel free to reach out to our team. We're always listening.
Awesome. Well, thank you again. No doubt, like I'd love to have you back on again. You know, year from now, I don't know, who knows what the future holds, right? As you know, more things show up and you know more change in this space comes along. It'd be great to have you back again to kind of come through and talk through what the evolution looks like as we continue forward here.
Awesome. Could be a tradition.
Hey, that would be fun. All right. With that, Brandon and Jen, I have a few as Teams makes the adjustment around. There we go. Videos popping. I love the little Teams purple boxes that come in across NDI when the video stream, you know, is rolling over. It's kind of fun. So
I have a quick.
Go for it.
There's some comments saying that your voice specifically is really soft.
It's you. I asked
obviously
about this before we started the webcast. I moved the position of my mic from the last time. So.
Yeah, you sound fine, but I don't know if we're getting a different audio than the stream is.
It should be the same. There's one adjustment I can make. Maybe that will help. So hopefully that's better. And then I will try to speak up just to make sure that I'm coming through clearly. You know, as of late, you know, we've been, you know, it's been just over a month since we launched the Canary channel. And our last webcast was on the changes made in that space, with Canary having lit up, the builds being released there, the reboot of the dev channel. We've gotten lots of feedback from insiders, questions, challenges between moving through channels and whatnot. We have caught up on all the feedback. This has been something that, you know, it was a commitment we made internally when, you know, when this change was done. And, you know, for our insider section of the feedback hub, right, the feedback came pouring in with about, you know, questions on how does this mean for build numbers and things of that nature. And I just want to tell folks we were it's been an adventure, but we have caught up in that space. So if you still have questions about Canary and dev, anything of that nature, please keep sending those in. We will keep addressing and responding to those. And then there's been some questions along the way that about the cadence of builds. And one of the things that I guess I want to kind of go back and highlight, and I'll actually put the link here in chat. Let me type that out real quick. WIP 2023. So that link is aka.ms/WIP2023. So 2023. If you haven't taken the time to read that blog post, please do. It contains all the relevant information for the changeover that was done. It answers questions about Canary, about the rebooted dev channel, so on and so forth. Most of the questions that we have gotten have been or answered in there. So, just big shout out to Brandon and the entire crew of folks that went hand in hand in making that blog post, because it was very comprehensive. And so there hasn't been much outside of that we've had to address. I just get to reference folks back to that. So big thank you from me to y'all. But the context that I was touching on a moment ago about build cadence is even with Canary being kind of, we'll call it the spicy channel, right?
Way to call it that going forward.
We still have our thresholds for build quality, right? We still do our internal validations. We still want to make sure that even though the channel can be a bit spicy, right, we do want to make sure that you have the ability to take updates, that you can jump from build to build, that we're not preventing core user experience scenarios. Like, you need to be able to log in. We want you to be able to, use things on your desktop.
Widespread bug checks, not good.
Yeah, like there are still like these minimum bars of quality that we have in place, and that we do validation internally on. There's in the number of people that are doing that. It's significant, and we have all sorts of testing, and then of course all of us on this call, plus our teams and so on and so forth, doing internal self-hosting on all this. So I say all of that to come to this point. Is I understand it can be frustrating if we don't get a build out for your particular channel in a given week. It's part of the reason why we don't make commitments on how fast we release builds. We try to get them out as quickly as possible, but at the same point in time, through communication such as that blog post, we've made commitments to the type of experience we are trying to provide to users in each of the channels that are available for you to participate in. And in doing that, we want to make sure that we're living up to those commitments. And so if a build doesn't happen to show up for your channel in a given week, I know it's disappointing. I get it. But at the same point in time, we're trying to be respectful of that experience that we've committed to. And, we just don't want to put you in a bad spot. So,
A quick sidebar.
To pivot off of that real quick, also, as part of what Jason was talking about, that's also why we also don't pre-announce when we're going to flight builds, because as we do our validation, may need to adjust, may need to, change plans, maybe delays. And so like creating, pre-announcing dates and times and stuff just makes things a little bit more hard to manage. And we need the flexibility to adjust based off of our validation, which is why we don't commit to saying we're planning to flight on this date, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. We just need that agility. So that way, if we do find something and we don't flight, it's just know that it's for your own good, essentially.
Yeah.
Gustav asked about like us blocking ARM64 specifically for certain issues. And that's, again, like if we find an issue that only impacts that population, like we have the ability to only block that population, and then everyone else can still get the latest fixes, but we don't make it worse for people with ARM64.
Yep.
That's why we do that.
Yeah. And it's one of our goals is we do want to get builds into the hands of users, right?
We want you to get all the fixes.
Yeah, like bug fixes, security updates, all that kind of fun stuff. Obviously, when there's new features and content, we want you to get that as well. And so if it is possible for us to get out a build to almost everyone in a particular channel, like Jim was just mentioning a moment ago, if we have the ability to kind of carve out a section where the experience wouldn't match the expectations set for a particular subset of users in a particular channel, we will try our best to do that. That way, at least most folks can get the build, so we can intake some of those insights and then get whatever feedback users may have to share. But the meta point of all of this being, we're committed to, obviously to this program and to getting builds out to you. So, if you do get frustrated, we don't deliver a build 1 week, just know that we're trying hard to make sure that we can get right back on track and hopefully get you something as quickly as possible there.
And to Crazy Cat's point, she sent us a thank you for communicating when there is no build. When we do a tweet that says that we aren't flighting a build for our channel, we wait until we're absolutely sure that there won't be a new build. And so a lot of times that'll come in later in the week. But before we communicate and say no new build, we want to be absolutely sure that we aren't going to get a new build out. Just so that way we don't have to be, oh, surprise, we changed our minds, that kind of thing. So we do try to communicate as much as we can when there is no new build available or isn't going to happen this week.
Yeah.
Because we try to figure out, how bad is the issue? How widespread is the issue? Is it fixable very quickly? Can we mitigate it server side? We have all these sorts of discussions.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep looking off to the side. Nutmeg is the most bored cat in the world right here.
That is one of the best parts about Teams calls is pets and videos. I love it. I love it. Ripley's not in here because I closed my door because, we had a package earlier and she was bark, bark, bark. And I was like, well, if she does it again, I want it to at least be as quiet as possible. I will share. There's one other. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, Zeno asked about the long update times in the Canary channel, that bug. Do you want to share?
Yeah.
You were more involved with that investigation than me. I was like, can you please fix this?
Yeah, that was one of the other things. There was actually two more topics I wanted to cover while we were on this session today. And one of them being, some of the recent feedback bugs, and I was hoping folks had questions. This is a great one. So, the root cause of the long update times bug has been discovered. We know what the problem is. The fun part of it is it's not easy to fix. So it was a confluence of two separate changes that came in from two different teams. And that's the joy of finding this stuff via preview builds. These changes. We had to get a
repro. We had to repro, we had to get a repro. And then once we got a repro, we had to figure out why it was happening. Mm-hmm. And then I think the first fix didn't work or something.
Additionally, in getting the repro was actually the most difficult part because getting a kernel debugger to attach and actually grab the logs during that particular phase of the update process proved to be more difficult than initially thought. And so it actually made it a bit more challenging. And it was because of the way these two changes were kind of, interacting with one another, shall we say. But thankfully, we managed to work through that, set up some secondary methods of debugging this. We figured it out. And so the team who owns the actual bug itself, which I know it'd be disappointing, but I'm not going to jump fully into the details of the bug. But the team that owns it is actively working through the right steps to bypass that. So I don't know exactly when the fix for that bug is going to show up, but needless to say, when it does, we will absolutely note that in the blog post because we have gotten lots of feedback from users on how frustrating that bug is. Totally understand it. It's hitting folks internally too. So the sooner that we get this done and knocked out and get, that piece of the update process back on track, we'll make sure and get the word out for everybody. How many internal rings channels are we have the same internal ring setup that you have external. So we have a canary and a dev and a beta and a release preview. And then there's actually some more for feature teams as they're doing development work to build features.
We talked about that ages ago, right? Mm-hmm. I was so much
years and
back
years
then.
ago. Yeah.
We talked about all the branch structures and getting code everywhere. And
the RI process of a team builds it and then it ladders up and then there's more teams code that comes together and it works all the way up until we get to the particular branch that a channel's flighting from and all that kind of fun stuff. Let's just say there's a lot of work that happens internally here. Gustav's about kernel debugging is not one of the easiest things to do, depending on how you're doing it. If you're connecting directly to a separate computer or trying to debug via network, there's some steps to work through. It is a fun process, but it's one of the best ways to grab detailed logging to help dig into a particular issue that may be occurring. And Zeno, you are most welcome. Thank you for asking the question. Happy to share. I'll be really excited when we get to tell you that it's fixed. Yes, Paul. Yes, we are working on that fix. Okay.
You guys still do coding. I mean, my job is investigating feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, I am not a developer. I'm a product manager, so I do not have the pleasure of coding the Windows OS. But I know
Mostly
lots
what
of
I
really
do is
smart and intelligent folks that do.
And scripting, feedback analysis, tooling, that sort of stuff.
That's coding in and of itself.
I don't know if you know, I've been like almost every single possible title I could be working on Windows. Like eons ago, I was a tester, I was a dev, I did data stuff. Now I'm technically my title right now is a technical program manager, but it's all good.
Yeah. Yep. And one other tidbit that I want to share, and this is gonna sound really interesting, but I want to share this because I'm actually super excited about this. So back when we started doing the webcasts, we got to build the Beam machine, and we actually did a blog post announcing Beam machine. You can actually go back. I just typed it in chat. It's aka.ms/Beam machine, BEAMMACHINE, of the components we used, how we built the computer, whatnot. And I am excited to say we're going to be doing some upgrades to the Beam machine. So we're going to be giving it a new CPU, a new motherboard, some upgraded RAM, and even a secondary M.2 drive to help store some of the files and everything that we use for the webcast and whatnot. So I'm debating on whether or not, we do another like mini build blog, or one of the things that I've been considering is just doing kind of an ad hoc web broadcast when I get the chance to actually do the actual physical hardware work. I haven't decided yet. I do have the new parts. I just got to actually carve out the time to actually, make the changes in the machine. So hopefully if you have access to Twitter or whatnot, and I'll actually probably post it on the answers forum as well. When I get to making that happen, if I decide to do a live stream, I'll announce that. And then I'll set up. It won't be as good as these, because obviously this machine's going to be used to do the hardware updates. So I'll try to broadcast it from like my Surface laptop or something. And we'll see how that goes. It's probably going to be a bit crazy, but I'll try to figure something out. But I'll keep y'all posted once this is done. And I'll take lots of pictures to share.
I love looking at all the pictures of people's like crazy setups on Reddit. There's like the Battle Station subreddit, and then there's PCMR, and like you have like the knickknacks inside of the towers. Some people have like the little video screens which show stuff, and then my setup is like the most basic, just junk all over my desk. Because you take the picture and then you clear everything away, take the picture, and then the clutter comes back, right?
Yep. Yes, of course, the Beam machine will be Windows 11. Yes, absolutely. I'm just kind of catching up on some of the last questions that have shown up in here. And Mason, your comment about the translation. Yep, I got your messages on Twitter. I've already shared that with the translation team. So that work is already in progress. So thank you so much for partnering on that.
X-Power just said Minecraft Legends is out. I'm so pumped, but it looks so good. But also I'm playing, Kuni right now, so I don't know. There's only so much time between. Being an adult sucks. Like, gotta work all the time. No time for all the cool games you want to play.
Yeah. Question from Yo Martin. If PhoneLink will be supported by other brands such as Xiaomi or Vivo and others. I do not have any insights into future plans. If there are specific OEMs, devices, or device models that you would like to see supported, please do use the links that were shared as part of that presentation. Drop those in the feedback hub. Share them as a suggestion. It'll go straight to that team, and they'll intake it. And who knows what the future holds. I can't make any guarantees, but without the feedback, they don't necessarily know what you're hoping to see. So please do share that.
I don't know how much you want to keep. I mean, there's all sorts of variety of questions. I'm not sure how
Yeah.
much you want to keep going through them versus.
I think we've probably covered enough. Like, we're a bit all over the place. But I will say this. I just want to say, I know she's already dropped from our call, but, you know, big thanks to Melissa for coming and joining and representing all the hard work from the Phone Link team. No doubt there is more to come in the future, so hopefully we have the opportunity to have her back on once again, come and share more changes that have shown up in that space whenever they are ready to go. And as always, I'll just say, you know, a big heartfelt thanks to all the insiders, wherever you happen to be in the world. You know, the effort that you put into participating in the program, all the builds that you're running, the feedback that you share, it is what helps us keep making Windows better day in and day out. Lots of feedback coming in. No doubt there will be more. It is very, very much appreciated. So with that, Brandon, Jen, any closing comments from you as we wrap up here?
No, I'm good. It was great to talk about Phone Link and answer some questions in chat. So yeah.
All right. Jen, anything from you?
No, I mean, I don't have anything new to say, you know.
Okay.
Keep filing feedback. I'm really excited for people to try out the gallery stuff in File Explorer. I know this whole meeting was about Phone Link and not File Explorer, but
That's all right.
it should be a lot nicer for, you know, attaching your photos to stuff, viewing your photos. And we've had feedback for years that like the thumbnails just aren't big enough in File Explorer, especially on HD devices. So I'm looking forward to people's thoughts about that and all the other things. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, all right. With that, we will wrap up. Hopefully the hardware upgrades on this computer go well so that we can do the next webcast. If something happens to go awry and I break something, I'll just have to fix it. So I'll keep everybody posted on how that goes. And with that, we will wrap and we will catch you next time. And as always, you can catch us on Twitter, twitter.com/Windows Insider. And then we do lots of interaction. Jen spends plenty of time on Reddit over in the Windows Insider. What are the Reddit subgroups called?
There's the Windows Insider subreddit, the Windows 11 subreddit, and I'm a Redditor, so you know.
Yep.
I'm
And then of course,
browse around.
If you have a more long form conversation, like needing detailed troubleshooting steps and things like that, you can always hit us up at answers.microsoft.com. There is a Windows Insider subsection there, so please drop some messages there, and we will get to those as well. And with that, we are done. Today's Tuesday. Hope everybody has a great rest of the week, and we will catch you the next time around.
Bye.